Hey guys, and welcome back to another FM23 Transfer Guide with me, Raxo FM, where today we are going over 3 signings and 3 sales for Liverpool. A side that of course have done very well since Jurgen Klopp took over years ago, winning a Premier League just a couple of seasons ago, coming third and second since then, but this year have dipped down into around that European qualification spot, which is not exactly where they deserve to be honest. But their form isn't quite right. So if it is a time to start a Liverpool save, I feel like now is the time with them down there. And with a couple of decent signings and a couple of decent sales, you can definitely make this team league champions once again. If you are excited for that, please make sure you do smash the like button on today's video, as well as subscribing to the FM YouTube channel so you don't miss more Football Manager content just like that. And let's jump into the advice that I've got for you. What the vision of the club is. They want you just to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, but in the future, they do want you to... they don't ever want you to win the league, which is worrying, but I feel like that will change at some point. They want you to... challenge... Sorry, I've read that wrong. They want you to challenge for the Champions League. That is slightly more difficult than I thought. But they do just want you to keep qualifying for the Champions League, keep getting into that competition in terms of the league. But when you're in the Champions League, you need to do a decent job, which is quite a high expectation, it has to be said. And with the budget of £42 million, I think you really should be able to do that. Of course, we know how good this team is already in real life. They have not made an insane amount of transfers this transfer window, apart from the fact that they have brought in Nunez for £65 million. It's really all we can talk about from them. Carvalho's proven to be a decent signing too, but do have space to bring in a couple more players. And that's exactly what we're going to do. But first, we're going to get rid of 3 players. Let's find out who they are. The first player that we're selling is a bit of a no-brainer for me, considering the fact that we have 3 very good goalkeeping options, and this man being the worst of the bunch, apart from, of course, Oscar Kelly. Adrian needs to leave the club. 35 years of age, got a high wage, got a decent amount of value. He's just going to leave on a free if you don't sell him now, so cash in while you can. In the save, he's gone back to Spain after years of being out of that competition, and he has joined for £2.8 million. Of course, they're paying all of his wages too, so we've got £60,000 worth of wages in the bank and £2.8 million. Cannot complain about that. The next player that we're going with is a player that never quite settled into being an incredible Liverpool player, but is still, of course, worth quite a bit of money because he is a decent player. It's Naby Keita, who came into the club for £53 million, never really locked himself down, as you can see. And if we go to the squad planner, we can see in that central midfield role, we have an abundance of players, including Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, Jordan Henderson, Trent apparently can play there, Fabinho, Thiago, young players like Harvey Elliott and Jones, and of course Artur, who has come in on loan. So we have plenty of cover, and Naby just isn't needed. And with such a high value, and not that much of a possibility of improving, I think it's obvious to cash in while you can. In this save, we have let him strengthen the rivals, but it is for £30 million, which I feel like is an incredible fee to get for this man, who was just a rotation player, not going to improve, not that young. Yeah, £30 million. It sends us up to £70 million with the budget. It's just a no-brainer. And the final player that we're selling is a club legend, but a player that has been here for long enough. It is Roberto Firmino, 30 years of age, considered to be a 3-star current ability player, and he's already wanted by some decent clubs. He's got a massive value, came in for £30 million, and obviously we know how good he's been for Liverpool. But getting on in his age, and with serious youth prospects like Jota and Nunez coming through the ranks in that striker position, I think it is absolutely the right time to sell him, because his value is only going to go down when you're not starting him. And realistically, that value is right now as high as it's going to ever be. So let's cash in on him. Let's get some serious money for him and sign some seriously decent players. In this save, he's left to go to PSG, and it's £40 million for us. That is an incredible amount of money. We will take that and run with it. We now have, £110 million to spend? Actually, I can check. It is £108 million to spend. That is an incredible amount of money. We need to look at what we need. And actually, I can go straight into it because I haven't signed anyone in this one yet. So, I'm ready to go. Quick pick, best 11. There's obviously a glaring issue, and that is the central part of this game, and we do need to improve that central midfielder. It's not terrible, to be honest. Like, we do have a decent player in that role, but we could have a much better, much higher quality, like Bruno Fernandes sort of level player in that central midfield role. But of course, if we go to the squad planner, we can see things a little more clearly. I think we've already established that the goalkeeper's fine, even with Alisson injured for a wee while. Once he comes back, it's going to be perfect for you. Kelleher, of course, injured too, but Oscar Kelly will do a job for you as a backup for the meantime. Then at right back, we have plenty of options with Trent, Fabinho, Joe Gomez, and Milner. Yeah, maybe it would be nice to have a right back out-and-out reserve, but beggars can't be choosers. Centre-backs, an abundance of options, really high-quality ones. Youngsters like Kanate and Gomez, and real experienced ones like Virgil van Dijk, Matip, and Fabinho, so can't complain about that. Left back, you do have two really good options, and Tsimikas is incredible in this game. Look at those stats, honestly. You could justify starting him at this point because his stats are so good. So you're fine at left back. At central midfield, we did see that Henderson is our starting central midfielder. And although he's a great player, and although you do have a lot of options in this position, you do need a real high quality one, because Fabinho needs a partner, and that partner needs to be a bit better than all of these options, just because most of them are really aging. So a younger central midfielder is a massive priority for me. On the right wing, you've got Salah, and on the left wing, you've got Diaz, but the backups do concern me a wee bit. So a bit of cover out there wouldn't be too bad. Obviously, we've already established Cam as a position we need, and striker would be a little handy, but I think Nunez and Jota should do the job for you. But of course, one more reserve always helps you out. So we're now going to spend that money. We're now going to sign some players, and we're going to improve this Liverpool side so that you can win the league. And don't forget, this is coming in before Cody Gakpo has come into Liverpool, which I imagine will happen at some point in an FM's update in the future. So, he's going to be slotting into the striker spots as well. The first player that were brought in had an incredible World Cup, even though his side could not get out of the group stage. It is Jamal Musiala. He is our Cam for years and years. He's 19 years of age. He has incredible stats already considered to be 3.5 stars. He's a wonder kid. He's got a worldwide reputation, and he is going to turn into one of the best players in the world. And he comes in just £55 million. That is a lot of budget, I will admit. It could eventually rise to £80 million, but you won't have to worry about that until the future. This man is a very, very good signing. He's going to be just one of the best players. I can't stress that enough. He will be one of the best players in the world, and he's going to be in your Liverpool side, and you will have bought him for £80 million. It's a no-brainer. Sign him up. You need a Cam. He can play in the wing as well if you need him. Central midfield if you need him. If you don't want to go for that full attacking mentality, dip down into the CDM role and have Musiala as your central midfield on Musiala. Works for everything that you need. Just sign him. The next player sorts out your central midfielder problem, and it is Pion. Definitely not saying that correctly. Coupon Miners, and he comes in for just £15 million. Could eventually rise to 22, but of course is a bargain with a player with these stats. I don't think the 3-star current ability does justice to what this man brings to the table. He has amazing stats across the board. Only 2 stats lower than the 10 threshold that I have for the yellow stats. 4 for long throws and 7 for flair. Everything else is incredible. So you can play him literally any role that you want in central midfield. Box-to-box midfielder, he'll do the job. If you want him as a Musiala, even on an attacking duty, he'll do the job. If you want him as a ball-winning midfielder, he'll do a great job. He is perfect for you. He will slot right in next to Fabinho as that box-to-box midfielder would be my recommendation. And you guys will have a lot of fun with this man. 24 years of age as well. He's got plenty of room to grow. Yeah, eventually you might want to improve on him. But with the budget we have, this guy is such a good signing. And the final player we brought in, I just couldn't help myself. It's Ansu Fati. He's a 19-year-old as well. Obviously, he was considered to be one of the biggest wonder kids of all time a couple of years ago. Now he has dipped down a wee bit. But £30 million for him is such a bargain. Could eventually rise to 40. But even that, of course, is just a bargain for this wonder kid. 4-star potential ability. but I just don't think that tells the whole story. He's already got an abundance of incredible stats. He can play right wing, left wing, and striker, which is exactly what you wanted. I mean, if you're bringing in Gakpo in the, updated save, which I imagine will come out from Football Manager eventually, maybe you don't need to sign Fatty. Maybe you can focus more on a central defender. But for me, this man is such a good signing for the price. He's got bags of potential, and he covers those wings and striker roles perfectly. And now with those new signings, this is what our best team looks like. I would definitely be chucking Cooper Miners in there, as well as chucking Mr. Fabinho into the starting lineup and playing it as probably here and here. Do we switcheroo? That's what I'd do. And then of course you want Fatty on the bench, making those runs as soon as you bring him on as a super sub and rotating in the squad here and there. With all the injuries that you have, I think it's crucial. This team is now ready to win the league. And actually, can we see? Have I gone up to projected to be the winners? No, okay, that would have been quite incredible. But still, we have built an incredible team, a really, really solid one to be able to build a foundation for your Liverpool side because of the youngsters we've brought in. If you guys have enjoyed this one, please smash the like button. Let me know down in the comment section below who you want me to do a 3 signings and 3 sales for next, and I will see you all later.